wife of my best friend forced me to do this is a true shocking story. I never imagined I'd be caught in a situation where my best friend's wife would push me toward a choice that would shatter the trust between us. But that's exactly what happened. In this shocking story, I reveal the tension, the temptation, and the heartbreak I felt as she crossed boundaries I never thought we'd face. From that night on, everything between us changed. Watch to discover the unexpected events that nearly destroyed our friendship and how one decision altered our relationships forever. I never expected that one decision one evening could tear apart years of friendship and throw me into a spiral of confusion, guilt, and disbelief. My best friend, whom I'll call Matt, had been closer to me than anyone else. We had a bond that felt unbreakable, forged over a lifetime of shared dreams, bad jokes, and all those wild memories that only best friends would understand. But as soon as he married his wife, Emma, subtle changes crept into our friendship. At first, I brushed it off as her just wanting to spend more time with him. But the night that altered everything was like a storm, quiet at first, but it left nothing unchanged. It started as an ordinary dinner at Matt and Emma's house. It wasn't unusual for me to spend time with them, but that night felt different from the moment I walked in. Emma was unusually talkative, and her gaze lingered on me a little too long. I could sense a strange energy between us, like an undercurrent of tension I couldn't quite put my finger on. I laughed it off, attributing it to my imagination. As the evening wore on, Matt excused himself for a phone call, leaving me and Emma alone. Emma looked at me, her eyes intense, her demeanor shifting. She poured another glass of wine and started talking about her life, her ambitions, her loneliness, and her frustrations. Her voice was soft, almost mesmerizing, and I could see a side of her that I hadn't seen before. I felt the need to comfort her as a friend, but something in her tone made my heart pound. After a few minutes, Matt returned, and the night continued like nothing had happened. But I couldn't shake off that feeling. Her words had planted a seed of unease that only grew with each passing moment. Days later, I got a call from Emma, saying Matt was working late again and asking if I could drop by to help with a small project. I hesitated but decided to go, thinking I could keep things friendly and casual. When I arrived, she greeted me with a warm smile, and we fell into easy conversation, chatting about anything and everything. She seemed relieved to have someone to talk to, and her laughter was contagious. But then, just as I thought we were having a light-hearted moment, her mood shifted. She moved closer, her hand brushing mine. I froze. "Do you ever feel alone?" she asked softly, her voice carrying a weight that made me nervous. "Emma, you know Matt's like a brother to me," I replied, trying to steer the conversation away from dangerous territory. She smiled, but her eyes looked sad. "It's just, sometimes, I feel like he doesn't understand me. I feel invisible." I swallowed hard, her words hanging heavy in the air. I didn't know how to respond. The silence was thick, charged with tension. I told myself to leave, but something about her vulnerability kept me frozen in place. Then, out of nowhere, she reached over, resting her hand on my shoulder, her fingers lingering a moment too long. Her gaze met mine, and I could see the unspoken invitation there, clear as day. My pulse quickened. My mind was screaming at me to walk away, to get out of there before anything happened, but the temptation was real. I could feel the allure of the moment, the spark of something forbidden. It was intoxicating. "Please stay," she whispered, her voice barely audible. It was as if time stopped. In that instant, I was caught between loyalty to my friend and the tension that had been building between Emma and me. Every rational thought fought against the urge to lean in, to let this dangerous moment play out. My heart was pounding, and 1,000 thoughts ran through my mind. What if Matt found out? What if this ruined everything? But I knew what I had to do. "Emma, this isn't right," I said, breaking the silence. Her face fell, a mixture of surprise and disappointment. She looked away, her shoulders slumping, and in that moment, I felt a pang of guilt. It wasn't easy to resist the pull of something forbidden, especially when I could see the pain she was hiding beneath her confident exterior. I left that night feeling a sense of relief mixed with dread. How would I face Matt? What if Emma decided to twist the story? Every scenario raced through my mind as I drove home, unsure of what would happen next. The following day, Matt called me, asking if we could meet up. My heart sank. Had Emma already told him? Had she made it sound different? But as we sat down, Matt opened up about his concerns. He felt like Emma was distant, like something was wrong, but he didn't know what. "Do you think she's unhappy with me?" he asked, his voice wavering. I was torn. Part of me wanted to tell him everything, but I knew that it could shatter his world. I couldn't betray him like that. So I tried to offer advice, telling him that maybe Emma needed more attention, more time together. I could see the worry in his eyes, and I wished more than anything that things could go back to how they were before. But deep down, I knew that the friendship we had would never be the same. Weeks went by, and while Matt seemed to be putting more effort into his marriage, the weight of that night lingered over me like a dark cloud. I avoided going to their place, avoiding any situation where I'd be left alone with Emma. But every time I saw her, I felt the tension crackle in the air, a reminder of how easily lines can blur, how fragile trust can be. Looking back, I know I made the right choice. My loyalty to Matt meant more than the pull of a fleeting moment. I'd saved our friendship, but the cost was high. Emma and I share a quiet, unspoken understanding now, a secret that will never leave that room, but one that changed everything. So, tell me, have you ever found yourself caught in a situation where you had to choose between loyalty and temptation? Would you have done the same? Let me know in the comments below. And if this story intrigued you, check out my channel for more real-life stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the conversation.